Managing anger is a valuable skill that helps you improve your relationship, your well-being, and your overall quality of life. Anger can destroy your relationship with your wife, your friends, with your colleagues, and with anyone that has been positioned to be a helper to you. Anger can make you take very, very hasty decisions and wrong decisions that can make you lose a lot of opportunities. The Bible says that do not be hasty in your spirit to be angry, for anger lies in the bosom of a fool. Hello, my name is Excellence Madoka. I'm a life coach, and I welcome you to the first episode of Free Souls Podcast. In Free Souls Podcast, we'll be extreme and exploring redemption stories, stories of people that has received mercy from God, people that have, by the grace of God, they have been delivered from all manner of vices that has kept them bound. Stories of rape, stories of cultism, stories of redemption from drug addiction, and many stories. I will be bringing a lot of people that will come to share their experiences. The Bible says that blessed is the Lord, our Father and Father of mercy, who has comforted us and from every affliction, and we ourselves from the same comfort that he has comforted us, we are comforting others. It is in 2 Corinthians chapter 1 from verse 3 and verse 4. I just paraphrase. Now, I'll be looking at today, in this episode, we'll be looking at how anger almost destroyed my life. For those of you that has followed my video on how I was initiated into cult and how God delivered me from cultism, if you have not, please, I want to plead with you that you subscribe to this video, press like, press the notification button, and go back to that video. It's a whole lot. I started from how I was initiated, how my first assignment, I began to x-ray some of the reasons why a lot of young people join cults. What are the ways to identify a cultist, the dangers and effect of cultism, how I was delivered, and so many more. If you have not watched any of those videos, please subscribe to this channel and go back and watch my video. So I want to start from, after I've been delivered, my life now as a Christian. Now, one of the things that, Satan almost used in destroying my testimony is the spirit of anger. Remembered in one of my videos when I talked about the dangers of cultism, or rather how you can identify a cultist. I said that an average cultist has this spirit of violence, is naturally hostile and aggressive. Is a spirit. Is a spirit that can lead them to do so many hideous things. That spirit was upon me, came upon me. Now, why my own was even different is that spirit of anger is something that is traced in my family. My family were people that when we burst out in anger, we can do anything. Those days, one of the greatest things that anger did to me, anger has caused me a lot of pains. When I begin to rage, when I become so angry, if I cannot get at the person that I'm angry at, I will begin to afflict myself until I see blood. I will not stop. That is how bad it was for me. That is how bad I was affected by anger. So when I now got born again, I was surrounded by a lot of believers that showed me love, that showed me affection, and they were very careful not to do anything that will trigger my anger. Well, probably not intentionally, but at that time, nobody triggered my anger. But I thought that I've dealt with that, not knowing that it was still lying. Now, today I'll be talking to us how I'm able to manage my anger challenge. This will help a whole lot of people. I know a lot of homes have been broken. I know a lot of relationships have been destroyed. A lot of people have, gone through so many, disappointments. A lot of opportunities have been lost because of this spirit of anger. Today, I'll be helping someone today. I don't know who you are listening to me. I'll be helping someone today know how to manage their anger, still keep their relationship, and maintain every opportunity that comes. Now, when I now started working as a Christian, I started going from school to school. I didn't know that this demonic force was still lying inside of me. Then until God began to expose. Now, the reason why I believe God exposed that area of my life is for me to deal with it. It's for me to know so that it will not embarrass me in future. Now, I am happy that this thing happened to me, that God was able to, you know, um, open up to me, expose this area of my life that I needed to deal with on time. Now, I remember one certain time in, I think, 2004, when my father died. At this point now, I began to preach from school to school. Remember, in one of my videos, I told you I became popular in school, and I started this ministry, going from school to school, helping young people that are already bound in cultism, helping them, come out from cultism and helping them stand out in life, and also, creating awareness on the dangers and effect of cultism for those who have not, or for those who have not been initiated. So I've been doing all this. I've been going from school to school, and a lot of people know me as an evangelist, as a pastor. So one day, as I went to the village after my father died, I can cut here, please. I can cut so that we edit. Let me. No, don't cut. Just let's continue. Don't cut, since we're editing. So after my father died, I went to the village to get fixed things up. By the way, I came from Abia State, Nigeria. So that day, I took some boys from Port Harcourt, the city where I reside. We went to the village, and after we had finished, we came back. On our way back, we got to the bus stop. That period, it was almost getting late, so there was no vehicle, to convey us from Umuahia to Port Harcourt. So we waited. There was a lot of passengers waiting. Now, at that period, as we were waiting, a vehicle just came in. And that vehicle came, and the vehicle was actually going to Port Harcourt. So we quickly, rushed into it. Then, the transport fare was not as expensive as it is now. Then it was the conductor of that vehicle was, he was shouting, enter with your 70 naira, enter with your 70 naira. So the Agbero people, the Agbero are the touts, at the motor park there. They now saw, and they now took advantage of the fact that they have a lot of passengers, because they hired the money, their commission will be higher. So we had already entered, we had managed to enter, and we sat down. And as we sat down, we began to hear 100 naira, 100 naira, 100 naira. Ah, I shouted from there. You see, right now it's beginning to build up. I shouted from there that, you said 70 naira. I'm not going to pay 100 naira, because already you have told us 70 naira. So that is what I have. I'm not going to pay 100 naira. I'm not going to pay 100 naira. And the man said, if you will not come down, I say, except you pull me down here. Now, that spirit has started coming up. I said, except you pull me down here, I will never come down from this vehicle. And the guy tried. So immediately as I jumped down, I raised my head to give him a headbutt. The next thing I had was Abasiayaya. Now, Abasiaya is the nickname that they give to me when I give my life to Christ in school. That Abasiaya means God is good. So anytime I come up to share my testimony, I always sing that song Abasiaya. So they nicknamed me Abasiaya. So for anybody to call me Abasiaya, this time I've graduated now. 2004, I graduated in 1997, 2004, and I've been to several schools. I've been to different schools to minister, and everywhere I go, they know me as Abasiaya. So immediately I had Abasiaya. I just hung. I hung. The Bible says we're surrounded by cloud of witnesses. You never know who is looking at you. And look at the kind of embarrassment that this anger would have cost me. I've preached to people, I've told people, and they know the person that called me that name knows that I am, I preach against cultism. And for you now to see me violent, fighting, what impression do you think? That would have spoiled my testimony. That would have ruined my testimony. So immediately, as I had Abasiaya, I hung. And they settled us. I eventually agreed to pay the 100 naira because I had no other option. So on my way back, I began to think. On my way back, I began to think. It began, to dawn on me that this would have spoiled my testimony. What if I had hit that man? What if I had hit him and he dropped there and died? I probably would have rotted in jail by now. You see what anger causes? My mother will always say that anger will not cook good soup. Anger will never cook good soup. Anger will never bring good things. I almost destroyed my testimony because of that singular thing, anger. So that was when I now began to, I began to look, I said, so this thing is still inside of me. And severally I've, encountered, several of, outbursts where I will just burst out and I will begin to rage. I thank God that these steps that I took and I began to maintain. And these are the steps I'm going to tell us how I was able to manage my anger up to today. Remember, it is a skill, it's a valuable skill. Anger, it won't just disappear. The Bible says, walk out your salvation with fear and trembling. It's something that is there, but you need to know how to manage it. Remember, I said it is managing, how I managed. So managing, it means that it's there, but you are controlling it. You are controlling yourself so that it doesn't embarrass you, so that it doesn't destroy your relationship with people. So I'll be telling us how I managed this anger, or how I'm managing my anger out. But for several years, I've never had such. Now imagine, I need you to just, sometimes I tell people humorously, I said, imagine if I've not, been able to discover this and been able to manage my anger. Honestly speaking, I'm married for 19 years. Honestly speaking, my marriage would have been broken. For 19 years, I've never laid a finger. I've never touched my wife before. Is it that I've not been angry? Is it that she has not provoked me? Many times. Men, you understand what I'm saying? Many times, women. When you say one day, so several times. So men, I'm also talking to you now. Any man that is listening to this, that is angry, that, that is dealing with this anger issue, that you are always, fighting and beating your wife because of little, you can manage your anger. You can manage that anger. You don't need to beat your wife if you are able to manage yourself. And this is what I want to tell us. This is what I want to teach us, how it helped me. And it's also going to help you, not only in marriage, but also in business. A lot of people, me, out of anger, I've walked out of a deal. I'm telling you, I've walked out of a deal that would have fetched me a whole lot of money. Just a little thing. Just a little misunderstanding. I just walked out. My dear, till today, I regret that action. I regret that action. And I'm sure a lot of people have missed so many opportunities because of this anger issue. So that is why I've come to let us know that we can manage it. You can suppress it. You can subdue it. No, it's not that you bottle it. No, I'll show you steps. Now, what are the steps that I took in managing my anger? The first step that I always take when anger comes like this, each time, I am, faced with a situation that will make me angry, the first thing is I'll just take time out, especially, in marriage, especially, you know, with my wife, when when she keeps talking and talking, I say, I beg, babe, I beg, I take God, beg you, please, I beg you. And she keeps, all I'll just do, I'll just walk out of the scene. Either I leave the room for her, come to the parlor until I calm down. Until I calm down. So each time you are faced with this, the best thing for you to do is for you to just take a walk. Step out of that scene, step out of that environment, take a walk, take a stroll. I'm not saying go and drink. I'm not saying go and sit down. No, just take a walk, take a stroll, walk out of that scene. And, as you walk out of that scene, by the time you take some time out, now you will now, hear me. You now discover that you are actually wrong. That, there was no reason actually for you to, be, how will I be religious, or you see things in our own point of view. So the first step that I take each time, it comes like this, I take a walk, I step out, I leave that environment. So by the time I walk around and come back, everywhere will be so calm and life continues. There I've overcome that devil. Then another step that happens to me, because you see, the rage, when it comes, it will look as if it's choking. But you see, I get to a point where I take a deep breath. As I take a deep breath, I shut myself off. No matter what the person is saying, I will not hear. So I'll just, if I'm not, number one, if it's somebody that I cannot walk out on, if it's someone that I cannot walk out on, there are people that you can't just walk out on them. If probably your boss is talking to you, you can't walk out of your boss. For the young ones, if it's your parents, you can't walk out of your parents. You can't walk out. There are people that you cannot walk out on. So the best thing you do at that point, just take a deep breath. Just stay there, take a deep breath and shut yourself off completely. As you do that, you'll see that, after some time, by the time they are done, you don't argue. Don't try to defend yourself. That is not when, you will start defending yourself. Because if you try to defend yourself, you might say something that will trigger that person's anger and both of you will begin to clash. So just take a deep breath and allow that person finish. Then you can now say, please, can I go now? That is how, it happens. I'm sure a lot of people are relating with me, you understand me, in this. Then another way that also helps me to manage my anger, I try to discover, what actually triggers my anger. What is that thing that triggers my anger? Try to identify, the trigger, that thing that triggers your anger. What is that thing that, that happens to you? Could it be, like my own case? One of the things that triggers my anger is when someone tries to disrespect me. You know why? They say respect is reciprocal. I respect people a lot, no matter how small you are. That is why I have a lot of young people around me. No matter who you are, I respect people a lot. So when I begin to see that, I'm being disrespected, That infuriates me. Now, let me give you an example of what happened. I'm sure, I'm sure he will be listening to this, or one day he will get to listen to this, and maybe this is my own way of saying I am sorry. You know, I remember sometime, in the estate where I stay. I'm more or less like the caretaker in that estate. So a particular man, my neighbor, he's a gentleman. I've never seen him. So something happened. So I tried to, draw his attention to that. Probably he was not really understanding me and I was not understanding him. So he asked me, say, Pastor, why don't you just come home? When you come home, let's look at this together. Let's, reason it together. I said, okay, no problem. So that day, I came back. When I came back, I did come back early, but I forgot to call him. So when the situation that made me call him, when it got out of hand and it's beginning to affect the other neighbors, so I had to call him, and it was raining that period. So he said, but Pastor, as I tried to explain to him, he said, but Pastor, I told you that no need to waste your credit, and we are staying in the same compound. Why don't you come? Let us discuss this. I said, okay, okay. Oh yeah, come. Then it was raining, and he said, what is this man talking about? Then he said, what is this man talking about? Are you okay? Can't you see that it's raining? You see, all that, because already I've started boiling already. All that, are you okay? I took it as disrespect, and we were on phone. My wife was there, another neighbor was there. Oh my God, the rage. I busted out. I began to rage. My wife was calming me down, begging me, please. I was raging and raging. I was raging. Oh my, and after everything that evening, I sat down and guess what? The Spirit of God began to call me. The Spirit in me began to, that flash, fool. Remember, anger lies in the bosom of a fool. And I regretted my action. I sat back. I said, Kai, why did I get so annoyed? Why did I read? So, what I do in terms of this, if I discover that you are a kind of person, if I'm relating with you, I discover that you are the kind of person that does not have respect. You don't respect people. I'll just stay clear from you. I respect myself. I stay clear from you. So that's one of the, ways that I use in managing that area of my life. I'll stay clear from you. I will not fully relate with you. I will relate with you, probably officially. I will not throw myself at you and give you that opportunity, to to um to disrespect me. So what is that triggers your anger? If you are able to discover that thing that triggers your anger. I remember a young lady those days. This young lady, she she was raped. Was it rape? Or she accidentally, she just finished secondary school, she accidentally got pregnant. I don't know whether she was raped or so, but you see, that pregnancy, she was saying with her parents, that pregnancy cost her, set her back academically. He lost so many years because, after she gave birth to that child, a boy, it took her time to recover, for her to go back to school, and she lost so many. And to her, she felt that was a big stigma in her life, that delayed her marriage. And each time she looks at that boy, each time she looks, she gets so infuriated. Any little thing that boy does to her, she will spark. She will, you know she will get so furious. She hated that young boy, and that also affected other, young children coming around her. So that, that formed a kind of barrier in her life until gradually, you know, she discovered a lot of things and God began to help her. She got born again and she understood what it meant, and God healed her of that anger over that child. And after that, things began to open up for her. Today, she's happily married. She has other children, and that are young child that used to infuriate her right now, he has graduated from university and doing very well. So what is that thing that triggers your anger? If you are able to identify that area, that thing that triggers your anger. Some days ago, I hope he listens to this testimony I want to share. A young man, the father brought him to me. He has gone through rehab. Very young, I can say beautiful, very very sweet young boy, clean boy that is struggling with addiction, drug addiction. He has gone for rehab, but you see, one thing I respected him is that he wants a way out. At his age, he followed his father to come and see me. So when I sat down with him and I asked him, after he had gone for rehab, he started serving in church. He was doing very well for close to a year. He was completely off drugs, nothing. He was just okay. Then all of a sudden, the father told me that he went to buy phone for him, and from there he disappeared. He sold the phone and they didn't see him for several days. Now, when he finally came, I asked him, I said, you have done it already. You have overcome already. So what happened? Why did you suddenly go back? He said that anger triggered that desire, that he became angry, frustrated, depressed. He was angry first. He was angry at himself. He was angry with everybody around him. That right now, the way he is. He said he was angry. He became depressed. He became frustrated, and when they eventually, he now started getting money and started, going back. He went to the bank. He began to take it gradually. So when they bought that phone, he sold that phone immediately and went back, and I prayed for him. I saw his desire, and I know that would have been it. So I told him, I said, okay, fine. Anger is what triggers you. That is the trigger that, that made you go back. So why don't you love yourself? That is where I come to the next one. Practice empathy. Practice empathy. Now, that person that always infuriates you, that person that always gets you angry, put yourself in their shoes. Just tell yourself that if this person knows better, he will not act the way he's acting. If he knows better, he will not disrespect. So, I have a friend who, a wonderful man of God. Each time you talk to him and you want to, talk him down or anything, he will just tell you, instead of getting angry, he will tell you, it depends on the angle that you are looking at it. It depends on where you are coming. So you see, he tries to put himself, so he doesn't allow that to, hurt. So if you say, well, it depends on the angle that you are looking at this. It depends on the angle. That he's doing it to help himself, not that he's trying to talk, himself out of the reality of what they are telling him. But he says that to help himself. So put yourself in the shoes of that person. Put yourself in the shoes of, whosoever that, makes you get, frustrated, that makes you get infuriated. And just tell yourself, if this person knows any better, he will not act the way that he acts. Just let him know. Now, you can also conclude, with the with the happenings in our nation today, you say, well, it is hunger. Everybody is just getting. Remember the slogan, that came out at the beginning of this: "No grief for anybody. Don't agree for anybody." So that kind of thing can get people inferior. So when someone steps on your toe and wants to trigger your anger, just know. Just put yourself in that person's position and tell yourself that, well, this person, if this person knows any better, he will not behave the way he's behaving. Then another way, there are several ways, but these are the key ways that, I use in managing my anger. Another way is practice forgiveness. Practice forgiveness. Try not to harbor things in your heart. Try to always forgive. Now, hear this. This is very important. Forgiveness does not benefit the forgiving. Forgiveness benefits the forgiver. Let me take it again. Forgiveness does not benefit the forgiving. Forgiveness benefits the forgiver. So when you forgive, you are doing yourself more good than harm. When you forgive, you are helping yourself. You are not helping that person, because most times when they offend you, they don't even know that that thing hurt you so much, and you'll be carrying it in your heart, you'll be bearing it, and you'll be moving with much resentment. So practice to forgive. Learn to forgive. When you reach out to people, forgive them. Now, if you hold down somebody in anger, and that person does not, you are holding down that person. As long as that person is not moving, you are not moving. So forgive that person for your sake, not for the sake of that person. So practice forgiveness. So if you do all this, I'm telling you, it will help you. It will help you. It will help you build your relationship with others very well. It will, help you improve the quality of your life. And God will, expose you to a lot of things. In Free Souls podcast, like I said, we'll be bringing so many stories, redemption stories, people that God has helped, people that God has delivered, people that God has touched. And probably in the next or the third episode, we're going to be hearing an exciting story. An exciting story. So please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this. Now, another thing I need you to do is, we're going to be discussing a lot. We are going to, I'm a life coach. We're going to be discussing a lot. So, whatever that is your challenge, maybe based on what I just said, put a comment, ask questions. We'll be taking your questions, we'll be answering your question, we'll be discussing your questions. Those things that are your challenge, those things that is still weighing you down, those things that is making you not to live a better life, those things that is making you not to live a fulfilled and purposeful life. How do I get out of it? Please put it down on the comment section. And as you put it down on the comment section, we'll be answering this question. We'll be dealing with this question one after the other in every edition. I'll be having, apart from bringing guests, I'll be having my own section, one-on-one section, where we'll deal with several things. Today we have dealt with anger management, how to manage, and maybe the next episode we're going to be looking at a very, very another interesting topic that will help you. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel so that you can follow us. Now, if you have not watched any of my videos, my journey into cultism and out of cultism, please, click the pop-up above, and you will follow, you will listen, you will know where God brought me from. You will see the power of the mercy of God, how God showed me mercy, how God comforted me. And it is with this comfort now that I'm reaching out to those that are afflicted, those that are hopeless, those that have been beaten and battered, to tell them that there is hope, to help them, to guide them out of, to bring them from, that place of bondage to the place of freedom. Please don't forget again. Don't forget. Just subscribe to this channel, like this channel, and like this video and comment, and we'll come to you. Remember, always stand out and don't blend. God bless you. See you in the next episode.